This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for attending our webinar today, our Mothernode CRM webinar titled Integrating with QuickBooks. I'm with, my name first of all is Andy Levine. I oversee training at Mothernode. I'm here with Jamie Geisler, who is our Mothernode CRM controller, as well as an Intuit Pro advisor. It's great to have Jamie with us as our subject matter expert to demonstrate the integration features today with QuickBooks Online as well as QuickBooks Desktop. As I mentioned earlier before we started the recording, we encourage you to chat your questions in at any time, and we will take your questions as we go, as well as at the end of the webinar. We'll talk about at the very end, we'll remind everyone that this session, as you know, is being recorded, and the recording will be accessible on our YouTube channel. We'll have the address for you, but just as a preview, our YouTube address is youtube.com/mothernode, but we will post that on our final slide at the end of the webinar. As far as what we'll be covering today, our agenda is as follows. We'll first look at QuickBooks Online and how it integrates with Mothernode. Jamie will demonstrate everything from initial setup. It's very easy, but it's important to understand how to get that started. And then she'll show you how to synchronize invoices from Mothernode to QuickBooks. And then posting payments, whether it is starting with posting a payment in Mothernode and then how it gets to QuickBooks or vice versa. You can do it either way. And then with respect to purchase orders, how to synchronize POs to QuickBooks as well. Now, once we cover this topic, we'll go ahead and take any questions that may have come in via chat. And then Jamie and I will do a quick switch so that she can go ahead and demonstrate the QuickBooks Desktop integration with Mothernode, including, again, setup considerations. There's a tool that's used called Transaction Pro Importer, so we'll talk about that. And then the exporting process of invoices from Mothernode CRM to QuickBooks Desktop, and then as well as importing to QuickBooks using the Transaction Pro Importer. That'll take us to another opportunity as we close the session for any final questions before we conclude. And again, we'll post our YouTube address and take any remaining questions. So that's the plan for this session. We appreciate everybody's attendance. What I'm going to do is go ahead and switch to a Mothernode screen. Or actually, my apologies, I'm jumping ahead, and what I'm going to do is actually turn control over to Jamie so that she can demonstrate the QuickBooks Online integration functionality with Mothernode. So I am taking care of that right now. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Jamie to make her the presenter. And Jamie, you should now be presenter.
Whoopsie doodles. There we go. Okay. Here we go. So when you are logged in to your Mothernode account, your screen may look a little bit different than mine, but you will, to start up setting QuickBooks Online, go to the Administration tab. The person who is going to be handling your syncing has to be an administrator on your Mothernode account. So be sure that whoever is managing your users has set you up as an administrator. Then you go to API connections and you will select QuickBooks Online. The first time you are seeing this, you will have to select some terms and conditions. As you can see, I did this 4 years ago, so I've already selected my terms and conditions. So you're going to accept that. Then you will see that you can connect to QuickBooks. When you're connecting to QuickBooks, you will be logging in as your QBO login, and this has to be a 1-to-1 ratio. So whoever is going to be doing the syncing has to be the same person that has a QuickBooks login. Okay, so you're going to select Again, yours is going to look a little bit different than mine because I'm a pro advisor. I have access to multiple companies. So you're going to select your company and just follow the instructions to connect. And now you have access. So we are going to start with syncing. That's the extent of the setup. So now we're going to start with syncing your invoices. To sync your QuickBooks invoices to QBO, just click Sync with QuickBooks. It's going to show you all your available ones to sync. If you wanted to sync everything that's in there, I'm not going to do that because we are in a demo data file and I will get some errors with some of these older invoices. So you can select Sync All right here, or you can physically select whichever ones you're going to sync, and then Sync Selected, which is what I will be doing. If you have several invoices, this process may take a couple of minutes. So now you can see that I got one invoice, so one of one that I selected. You can also click here to view your records, and you should double check to QuickBooks to make sure that your invoice synced over. So I like to look at my records. So I'm looking for 223, and I'm going to go over to QuickBooks, and I was already logged in, so I'm going to look at number 223, and there it is. So they should match. There they go. They match. And it will bring over the sales tax too. These do not have sales tax because, again, this is a demo data file and we do not have that set up in this file. But it will collect your sales tax. Now, I'll show you how to do the payments real quick, and then I need to talk about the general ledger codes. So you can, most accountants, I think, are going to work directly from QuickBooks. You can receive your payments in here, and you can do partial payments. What I'm going to do here is make a partial $600 payment. I need to make sure it goes to the right invoice. There we go. And I'm going to save that. So here it says I received the payment in QuickBooks. I can go into QuickBooks, go into Mothernode, and it's going to sync back. Every 10 minutes, I believe now there's an auto sync back to get your payments, but you can force it with the clicking Get Payments button, and it will say one payment was fetched for that invoice. And you will find it under Record Payment in your invoice. So you'll see my payment of $600 showed up here. You can also record the payment in Mothernode, and it will forward into QuickBooks. Let's do 5,000. Okay, and this process, though, happens instantly. So once I go over and I'll refresh my invoice here, and you will see that I've made 2 payments right here. Now, when this is syncing over, you're going to have to double check your general ledger codes to be sure that it is posting where you want it to put. That is going to be the only cleanup that you're going to need to do, is making sure that your product and service that you have here in your QuickBooks file matches what's coming over from Mothernode in your, I clicked the wrong one, in your items here. So it's going to pull over the item name, and that is going to be your product and service, and then you go into your general ledger for the product and service and make sure it's lining up where you want it to be on your P&L statement. That's in the beginning, probably you're going to have to do a little bit of cleanup, and then it should all be working just fine. That's the extent of invoices in QuickBooks. Now we will talk quickly about syncing purchase orders. I'm going to get out of that one there. Okay. Now we go to inventory, purchase orders. And again, click Sync with QuickBooks. I'm just going to sync this. You can select Sync All or just select what you want. I'm going to do this 190. And again, one record went over successfully, it says, so let's double check. Go in here, search 190, and there you go. So let's just double check the record. Now, here's the difference in, now this one doesn't have sales tax on it either, but QuickBooks does not record sales tax on purchase orders. So even if you have sales tax on your purchase order in Mothernode, that's fine. QuickBooks will not bring that over. That's just a function of how QuickBooks works for purchase orders. Then you can receive your purchase order as you would normally do. And again, your products and services, you're going to have to double check and make sure that it moves into the proper GL code that you want. We're hoping that there will be a functionality at some point to have the GL codes talk to QuickBooks, and hopefully that will be an update coming at some point in the future. But that is the extent of QuickBooks Online and Mothernode integration.
All right, thank you, Jamie, and we'll check for any questions that may have come in over chat. We don't see any questions. Again, feel free to chat your questions in. We'll still check for chat questions as we continue on and at the end of the webinar, of course. So with that, we'll go ahead and we're going to do a quick change here and then move into the QuickBooks Desktop portion of the synchronization capabilities. So I'll take care of that right now. Bear with me just a moment. I'm going to, just as a starting point, switch over to one of our screens in Mothernode.
Okay. Now with QuickBooks Desktop, you have to have purchased and downloaded Transaction Pro Advisor from Bay State Consulting. And Bay State will support their own product. We cannot support Transaction Pro Advisor for you, but we, this is how we physically do our invoices, so we know how it works pretty well. So you will need your login email for Transaction Pro Advisor and the long, ugly password that they send you in your email. Be sure and keep that because you will need that periodically. So to set up, so you'll, we need to go to Transaction Pro. So you need to have Transaction Pro Advisor set up, authenticated, and ready to go. You also need your QuickBooks file open before you open Transaction Pro Advisor. So once you've set that up, you're going to go to your accounting invoices, and you're going to export to accounting. There is another way to get there too, but we'll do it like this. You select your invoices that you want to pull into the desktop version. And you're going to select the XLSX file. And you see it was 2 invoices of the 2 that I selected. And now we don't have to do any cleanup on that. We shouldn't have to, but if you find that you need to, you'll be able to do that at some point. So let's go here. So you go to Transaction Pro, you click Browse, and then you're going to pick the file that you just downloaded, and you're going to open it. And it is going to, I did skip over the invoice credit memo section. So what we need to do is QuickBooks as you know, has a separate portal for credit memos and invoices. And there is a way to, on your, in your program files, to change this link, because the standard is to just have invoice. To get this to say invoice credit memo, we will have a note in the YouTube file. We also have another video that goes over that. But you'll change your program file for Transaction Pro Importer to have, at the end of the 7.0.exe quotation mark, you're going to put space, hyphen, invoice credit memo, all in caps. And then that will give you this invoice credit memo type, import type. Because our export file has invoices and credit memos all in one file instead of separate files, if that makes sense. Okay, so now you've got your file that you're going to import. You select next. And again, these are all my line items, even though there's only 2 invoices. Each line item gets a record number. Click next. You will need to map these fields the first time you do it, and it's going to be a one-to-one mapping, except for a few of our clients who don't use, remember in QuickBooks Online where we talked about the item name coming over as the product and service? Well, you can do item to item right here, or for some of our customers, such as ASIs, you have, where did it go? Hold on. It's at the end here. Oh, wait, no, never mind, hold on. You would select, it's at the end, product type. And that's going to put you at made here, made out, those special categories that we have for your business. You would select product type if that's how you're doing your business. We're going to do this as item for this particular one. I'm going to, oops, oops, I need to go back. Oh dear, I'm changing everything. There it goes. Okay, so this is the only field, how did that happen? There we go. This is the only field that you need to know how your QuickBooks is working versus your Mothernode, and what that item name in your Mothernode is talking about. And if you can use product type or item, okay? And then it'll go into the proper GL place. So here we go. And I click next. If it has a new item that it's never seen before, you can select which account you want that to default to. And again, it's going to be some cleanup on the QuickBooks side if you have several new categories that you're bringing in, then you will want to fix that on the QuickBooks side. This product is only going to allow you to select one default. And then you click finish. And it's going to ask you more questions. And when we have that grid up, you have the opportunity in that grid to change any of the data before you import. So if there was something that you wanted to change, you can do it there before it brings it in. Okay, so everything was successful. It is going to give you a transaction log here. If anything errored out, it would tell you, and it would tell you why. And mostly it's because you would have had some errant code in your item description or item name. If you had funky characters that QuickBooks doesn't like, those kinds of things will kick it out and not import it. You can always go back into your Excel file and let's see, and fix it there if you wanted to. So I don't see where the file is, but you can go and fix it in that file and then re-import it and save it again and re-import whatever did not work. And that is the end of that. So that's how Transaction Pro works. They're currently on 7.0. So if you do not have 7.0, they will, my version was 5.0, and they are sunsetting that. So if you have an older version, they're going to force you into an upgrade. So just be aware of that. Okay. So I'm going to switch this back to Andy.
All right, thanks, Jamie. And what I'll do is switch back to our slide. And so basically that's it. This is where we begin to wrap up. And but we do want to take questions. It looks like something may have.
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay. That's right. Any questions for Jay? So we'll stay on another moment or two. And again, please chat in any additional questions. We know it's very straightforward, but we want to give you an opportunity to ask questions. As Jamie mentioned, as part of the setup process in Transaction Pro Importer, there's the one path adjustment to be made, and as Jamie mentioned, we'll document that. That'll be part of the entry in YouTube. We should be able to get all of that processed and uploaded to our YouTube channel sometime later today with those additional instructions. But as you can see, it's very straightforward whether you're using QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop. And we'll give it just another moment. Any final questions? Can you, if you do, please submit via chat. Otherwise, I don't think, do we have any final comments, Jamie?
No, I think
Okay.
that if that answered everybody's questions, then I think we're good to go. You can always contact us offline as well, and we will answer what we can for you. But everybody's QuickBooks files are different, so you kind of have to know how your QuickBooks file is reacting for us to be able to really be able to help you.
Absolutely, yeah, we're here to help in addition to the recording that'll be available on our YouTube channel. With that, we don't see any questions, so we hope that this was informative for you and that you got a lot out of it. And then, as Jamie mentioned, just let us know as you begin using these functions and you run into any questions. Otherwise, thank you for your attendance. We appreciate it, and we wish you all a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.